All right, hey, welcome back everybody to this week's Most Elite podcast. Once again, for those keeping up with the chronological that word that means time chronological order of my videos, you may notice that I'm a week late, or you may not. I mean, do you even think about me? Do you ever get nervous? Are you high right now? That's a Little Wayne reference for all of you rap fans out there. This week we're talking about uh God of War, and honestly, I'm gonna spend most of the video just talking about the new one. I mentioned it in the last video. I want to talk about the new one. Maybe I'll talk about some of the older games. Well, I have to talk about at least one of them because there's a jump button in those games, and I don't know if you've played the new one yet. Spoilers: there's no jump button. So that's fun. I spent 3 games or 5 games or 7 games, however you want to, if you count the Vita ones. Or I spent a lot of games being able to jump, and I get into this new, fresh experience with a beard and an axe, and I can't jump. But that's probably the only reason I'll talk about some of the old games. In fact, I think that's it. I think I just got it out of the way right in the beginning. There's no jump button, and that might seem like a nitpicky thing, but it's not. There's a jump button in Uncharted. There's a jump button in Tomb Raider. This game is those games. Let's be real. I mean, they looked at Uncharted and Tomb Raider and was like, all right, those are the things that work. Let's incorporate that into the God of War world. This shit is Tomb Raider. Down to the campfires. And the campfires in God of War are the doors that you can touch your Blarney stone or whatever the fuck you're touching to teleport yourself through. There's no traditional fast travel. Just like in Tomb Raider, you have to travel to campfires that she sits at. And this one, you just walk through a gateway because you're in Norse god world, and there's gateways, and you got a little blue rock, and it's like, oh sweet, my blue rock. It's like a caddy, just pull off on a blue rock. So yeah, I mean, they looked at those games and was like, oh, this shit works. No jump button. They took almost everything but the jump button. And I know, I mean, that some people might be like, oh, it was a stellar experience, I didn't need a jump button. You're wrong. You're wrong. And you're wrong because all sequels always should be moving the platform forward. There shouldn't be a sequel that steps backwards in time. That's a prequel. A sequel should always move forward. And if I started in God of War 1 in like 2001 being able to jump, there is zero reason in 2018 at God of War, the biggest iteration, I can't jump. Even if it's a small jump and it has nothing to do with the game, I should be able to jump. So, drop the ball on that one, Corey Balrog, creative director, or whoever the fuck decided that there shouldn't be a jump. But let's talk about God of War. What is God of War? In God of War, you play as a man, turned God, turned man, turned God, the boy who lived, named Kratos, the son of Zeus. And then, Zeus, if you go and read the legends or whatever, Zeus is a known, all the gods pretty much were just fucking douchebags. They would come to Earth in the forms of like eagles and shit and bang women or whatever the fuck. They didn't care. I guess god vagina is not enough because a lot of them have children with humans. And yeah, there you go. He's the son of Zeus. He was a soldier of Sparta, conquest. He fought a lot. During wartime, the god of war Ares hit him up like, yo, Kratos, you the OG. You wanna work for me directly? And Kratos was like, sure, why not? I don't give a shit. So from then on, his conquest like met no end. He was just a king of the battlefield. And something middle. He goes home and kills his family. I think Ares like tricked his mind into thinking he was killing some enemies who were at his home, but it was really his family. So he was tricked by the gods, a god in particular, Ares, into murdering his own family. And then their ashes were burned onto his skin. And he became what's then known as the Ghost of Sparta, because he looked white as a ghost with their ashes on him. And yeah, from then it's just revenge. He lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes revenge. He wants to kill Ares. He wants to kill the gods who would allow this to happen to his family. He wants to kill everybody. And he does. He He goes on probably the most epic killing spree of all time. You know, most people go on killing sprees, and it's, you know, it's a couple of people here and there dead. He kicked it up a notch, and was like, all right, I'm gonna kill gods. I'm gonna kill things that shouldn't be able to die. I'm gonna kill them because they took everything from me. Even though, I mean, if you're gonna be honest, he did it. You know, he took everything from himself with his lust for power and greed. He could have told Ares no. He could have been like, no, fuck you, man. After this war, I'm going home to my family. Shit, I got a wife and kids. He could have said that. He was like, no, shit, I'm lusting for power. Fuck you, mean. I'll take the deal with the devil. I'm a dickhead. And he paid for it. So it's kind of justified that he at least wanted to kill Ares, but for the rest, he should have chalked it like, fuck it. You know, I fucked up, and that's me. But he didn't. He's a dickhead. That's the moral, I believe, of all the God of War stories, is all the gods are dickheads, Kratos included, because they definitely are scumbags in all the games. You didn't meet a single god that wasn't trying to ice you in some way. Like, even Athena, who's helping you through the games, turns out she was using you so she could take control of the Pantheon. She didn't give a fuck about you or your family or anything. And you end up killing her. And then, as if killing her wasn't enough, her fucking ghost haunts you for the remainder of the series. It's like, okay, are you fucking kidding me? Go to wherever it is the fucking Greek gods go. It's not Valhalla. Where do you go? Get out of my goddamn face. You know? So, yeah, I mean, that's God of War. You're an agent of mayhem. I know that's a game that recently came out, but it's the term best used to describe Kratos. He's just very angry, and he's killing, indiscriminately killing. You know, as my friend Troy would say, with the straightest of faces, women, men, children, he doesn't care. And you're like, children? Yeah, he kills the sheriffs, and they're in the form of children, right? Fuck them. He kills. He's so angry. He killed Fate. He's like, oh, y'all Fate? Oh, y'all decide what happens? Hold up. Kill. I mean, how's that even possible? He killed King Midas, Cerberus, Perseus. The list goes on. He beat Zeus to death with his bare hands. The Zeus was his dad, as I said at the top of this, and he did it. He just did it, and it was never enough. The killing was never enough for him. He could have stopped at any time, you know. 2-3 gods, he could have been like, all right, well, I only had 3 family members, so I guess that's fair. No. Whole pantheon. Everyone's got to die. Like John Wick. Oh, they took my car? All right, everybody's got to die. I just want to kill this one guy, but guys keep getting in my way, so everybody's got to die, you know. He was the John Wick of the Greek pantheon. Instead of headshots, he killed you with Blades of Chaos. And that was pretty cool. They bring the Blades of Chaos back into the new game, which I thought was neat. So that's Kratos. So fast forward 10 years or 20 years, or how many years? A lot of years, to 2018, and we find him in the Norse world somehow, which they don't explain. They don't have to, because at the end of 3, like, he disappears. I think he falls off a platform or something after beating Zeus to death into water, and I guess that water took him, just carried him to the Norse world, or he washed up and went on a trek to get the fuck out of the Pantheon, because he was like Malibu's most wanted at that point. You know, he killed so many people. I feel like there had to be some sort of punishment for that. Anyway, he's in the Norse world. We find him many years later, and he has a son. The game opens with him chopping some trees down, marked by his wife before her death. Trees that she wanted him to chop down to burn her on as a funeral pyre. So he honors that wish. He's Kratos. He's more subdued. That rage that we've come to know him for is all but gone. Replaced with a cautious, anxious optimism about raising his son without his wife. He started a new family, but the wife is dead before the events of the game. His son is named Atreus. And Kratos is the classic, I love my son, but I don't know how to connect with him, dad. So the son has a bit of animosity toward him because the son was pretty much raised by the mom, and Kratos was never around. Throughout the game, through flashbacks and through details, you hear Atreus saying how he's never there and how he doesn't want me, but he's willing to try with him as long as Kratos is willing to try, which was really, really mature for a boy Atreus' age. I think he's 10 or 11, one of those. So yeah, that's where we find our I'm not going to say hero. He's not a fucking hero. Kratos is not a hero. He's a piece of shit, like the rest of the gods. This is where we find our main character. This is where we find the MC. Years later, dead wife, son. So she asked them before she died to spread her ashes on the highest peak in all the realms. And they thought, oh, well, there must be that mountain over there. Let's go over there and let's do that. Some middle. You know, you play, you get to know the controls. You get to know Atreus helps you in combat, which is pretty neat. He becomes essential later because you have to fight these bosses called the Valkyries, and they will fuck your shit up. And he becomes pretty essential. His light elf arrows, in fact, because they introduce weak to the enemy, like there's a meter. And if you shoot enough of them, it builds up the meter, and they're weakened. And all your attacks do a little bit more damage for a little bit of time. And that shit adds up. It's really important to do that. If you're having trouble with the Valkyries, that's how you do it. Switch to the light elf arrows, weaken them constantly. Use the super where you slam the ground 3 times. I don't know if you got it. It's the R2 one. And use the R1 one that I used, the wave of light. Just charge it all the way to level 3. You shoot 3 waves of light. And that's how you beat the Valkyries. Even the Queen. I beat them all. I did it. I'm not bragging. That's how you do it. Please go and do it. It's enjoyable. It's going to make you pull your hair out. But when you do it, you'll feel good. They have some attacks that are unblockable when they jump in the air. Just throw your axe at them and hit them immediately. I know some people say you shoot them with Atreus. That shit does not work for me. Every single time I've shot them with Atreus, they just laughed at me and hit me with the attack. Throw the axe at them. You can throw the axe. They have enough time between each aerial attack where you can hit them with that axe before they do anything. Even the one where they go to fly at you, like, ha, and they do it 3 times. If you hit them right in the face with the axe, they come crashing down. You get a full combo. So, do the axe. Yeah, so Atreus is with you. He helps you in combat. And you start your journey. You meet some interesting characters. You meet a dwarf. He's the shop of the game. You meet his brother. He is also the shop of the game. They both serve the same function, but I guess for story purposes, they're both there. You upgrade. This game introduced an armor and weapon system, which my friend would hate because he feels like, how the fuck do you make shit stronger? You know, I kind of agree, but whatever. There's armor weapon system, and it's a loot system, so it's color based armor. You know what that means? Gray armor is shitty, blue armor is okay, purple armor is better, golden armor is the best. That's the game, and you have to spend your game looting, getting loot from enemies. I guess it's something to make killing them more interesting. You level up, you get some armor, you get some loot, you fight a fucking dragon, you get to the top of the hill. Oh, before you even do that, I guess undoubtedly I have to mention the best part of the game is in the opening when, spoilers, I guess, I don't know, this game's been out for a while, Boulder shows up at your house, the god Boulder, and he wants to talk to you. And Kratos is like, no, we ain't got nothing to talk about, G. And Boulder's like, no, I think we do. And then they start fighting. And it's probably the best fight in the game in terms of the cinematics. The fight itself is pretty basic. Hit him, block an attack. Hit him, dodge an unblockable. Hit him, the fight's over. But the cinematics are great. The cinematics on that fight are really, really cool. It really shows off how strong Kratos is, or still is, and it shows off how strong Boulder is. And it really introduces a pretty good bad guy. I didn't even know this because the game doesn't do a good job of explaining it. But Boulder's the main bad guy of the game. And it didn't feel that way ever. At no point did I feel like, oh man, Boulder's coming. I didn't think he was a bad guy. I thought he was just an enemy, man. Because, I mean, honestly, Kratos has fought on the backs of Titans and killed Kronos. And some fucking random dude with tattoos. That's the problem with God of War, I think. You can't introduce an enemy that's going to feel epic anymore. Because he's done it all. He's the definition of been there, done that. And his attitude is like that throughout all of the game. Even when Boulder like punches him in his face, like bitch slaps him, like, and Kratos is like, trust me, friend, you don't want this fight. And you know, for veterans of the series, when he says that, you get instant flashbacks to him fucking gods up, beating Ares up, breaking demon dogs' necks. And you're like, yeah, he doesn't want whoever Bull is, he really want to go home, be a family man. Guile too, like, I don't know. Anyway, the fight's really cool, and it shows Kratos' God healing. Oh, another thing I want to talk about really quickly is people keep calling him old Kratos. And gods don't age. So why are they calling him old Kratos? He still has his godhood, because if he didn't, Boulder would have killed him in the beginning of the game. He stood up and instant regenerated like gods do. The same regeneration they showed Boulder use moments prior. Gods don't age. He's just stressed Kratos with gray hairs in his beard because he's fucking stressed as fuck because his past is right behind him like the rabid dogs of hell, and his wife is dead, and now he's got this kid who's not going to listen. You know, they should call him stressed out Kratos. Fuck, man. He's not old Kratos. He can't age. He's a god. Maybe I'm wrong. Corey Balrog, if you're listening to this podcast, please email me. Like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be pretty sweet, actually. But no, so, you know, the fight in the beginning is really, really neat. You beat Boulder up, break his neck, and since he's Boulder, he can't die. And it's like, oh, man. And you got to fight him again later. But you make your journey to the mountain. On your way up to the mountain, a lot of stuff happens. I won't spoil it. But the game puts an emphasis on the relationship between Kratos and the boy, who Kratos lovingly calls boy the whole game. Sometimes I thought he forgot his name because he was never there, but he calls him his name occasionally. But you get there and Mimir is there, the smartest man alive, and he's like, oh shit, y'all want to go to the tallest mountain? Yeah, that's not here, B. That's in Jotunheim, the land of the giants. And unfortunately, Jotunheim's been closed off forever. So, tee-hee. And you're like, how do we get there? And of course there's a way to get there because nothing's ever really closed off forever. You spend the rest of the game just trying to get there. And the midway point of the game, you got the thing to get there, you open it up. And I apologize for yawning. And Baldur's there. And you fight him and you break the gate. So now you have to start all over and get there again. You know, for a place that had so many ways to get there, you would think Odin would have figured it out already. He's got unlimited time. But nope, he never figured out how to get there, which is weird. Anyway, you get there. You keep playing. You meet Freya. You know, she's Boulder's mom for anybody in the lore of the Norse. She doesn't tell you. She keeps it a secret. She doesn't tell you she's Freya. You find out later. Kratos instantly distrusts her because he doesn't trust any god. Rightfully so. They're all dickheads. But Freya's like less of a dickhead. Anyway, you keep playing. They introduce some cool stuff, like at the end of the game. At the end of the game, there's a place you can go. Well, you can go there in the middle of the game. It's on fire. I think it's Muspelheim or whatever. It's a mountain. The fire giant Suitor made it as a challenge. And there's challenges in the game. And I mean, I'm on the second wave of them. I beat all 6 of the first ones and beat the Valkyrie. But then after, if you want to keep collecting items, he resets them and makes them harder. And I cannot, for the life of me, beat that. I think you got to beat like 40 enemies without getting hit once. And I'm like, man, this is really hard. It's hard for me. I don't know. But yeah, there's challenges on the mountain. I mean, the gameplay, see, my problem with God of War, this one, is it had a lot to build on. You know, it came from a rich history of video games with a lot of stuff in it. And there's nothing in it. There's nothing in this God of War. Like, you get 2 weapons? What the fuck is that? There's no jump? What the fuck is that? There's no costumes? Like, there's nothing to do after you max out your health bar, your rage bar, and beat the Valkyries. There's nothing to do. You can max whatever armor you're wearing, max it out. You're done. You're done with the game. I'm not playing it just for the love. Like, give me something to do. You know, and I get it. Corey Balrog already said, hey, man, I'm making 5 more games, bro. But that is no excuse for a not finished game after many years of waiting. And I get from a business standpoint, you want to keep everybody coming back. But had he included just 2 more weapons, you know, just give me 2 more weapons and some fucking costumes. Some costumes for Atreus, for Kratos, young Kratos, if you want to call him old Kratos. You know, Ghost of Sparta Kratos. Just some costumes, something to keep me playing this game. I would have gladly went out on day 1 and bought his sequel. But since he breadcrumbed us and left us with like nothing in this game after it's done, oh, did you enjoy the story? 4 more years later, you get another sneak peek. Fuck you. I'm not going to buy your second game now, because you must think I'm an idiot. You must think I'm just going to play the game, love it, and be content. But it's been how many years since 3? How many years since 1 and 2? You know full well what was in these games. You must, unless you're one of those developers who just never played any of the games and just took on the role because of the prestige. If that's the case, fuck you even more. You know, you breadcrumbing your community for what? So we can buy your second game or your paid DLC when you could have just put a little bit more in this game. I have no problem with the game outside of that. The game's fine outside of that. I can let the jump button go. But to not have a third weapon, to not have anything else, you get the fucking head of a Hydra or whatever, or Medusa, and the other one you can turn people to stone mid combat and shit. Where's anything cool? You get the Blades of Chaos, you get the axe. That's it. You don't get an artifact that change. You get those little, you equip those artifacts, right? You equip those things, and I don't care. They don't feel like they change my gameplay enough. One of them slows down time. That's the only one I use. I maxed it out. I slow down time and I fight. That's it. That doesn't feel like it. I mean, and I only do that on the Valkyries. I've never done it in combat, ever. I only did it on the Valkyries because I needed those extra hits. That's about it. Like, none of it changes anything. Even if you get all the max armor and everything, it's like, sweet. I'm still going to get fucked up if I'm not careful. The max armor doesn't make me feel empowered. It just makes me look cooler. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't know, man. There's not enough in this God of War game. And I know people are going to think whatever. People are going to think whatever they're going to think. I like the game. Please don't get me wrong. I like the game a lot. I just feel like things were purposely left out to sell us another game. And that should make you angry. It makes me angry. Stop leaving stuff out of games just to sell another game. That'd be like going to a movie and midway, the movie just stops, like Sopranos style. It just turns off. And then the credits roll. And you're like, whoa, what about all these plot threads? And like, all right, catch you in 2 years. Oh, wait, that's the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. People love that shit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a dickhead. You know, fuck. I might be an asshole for that. Because, yeah, I just remembered the Marvel Cinematic Universe exists. And people have been eating that very thing up for over 10 years now. And ironically enough, I mentioned the Marvel Cinematic Universe with this new God of War. There's an Infinity Gauntlet in the game. In the God of War game, there's an Infinity Gauntlet Easter egg and some Infinity Gems. Not only that, at the end of the game, just like the Marvel Cinematic Universes, there is a after credits scene. Isn't that interesting? After you go home and go to sleep, there's a Marvel-esque after credits scene that introduces Thor, because he's not in the entire game. Look at that. I guess Corey Balrog was like, what do people like? Waiting for answers? Waiting for things for 4 years or so? All right, let's do that. You know, I can't even fault. I'm not even mad at him. I get it. He just went with what worked. And he got a successful game out of it. Everyone applauded him and everyone liked the game. But I'm not willing to overlook all of those things that I find wrong with it just because I like God of War. I think it's a goddamn shame that it wasn't more in it. I think it's a shame that it's being lauded as this masterpiece when it's missing a fucking jump button. I could jump in 1, 2, and 3, and that was on PS2 and PS fucking 3. And I mean, come on. How is it a fucking masterpiece? How is it a masterpiece? 2 weapons. 2 weapons? Huh. Neato. Masterpiece. Whatever. I like the game. I don't like what they did at the end. I don't like that there's nothing to do at the end. Story was okay. It was passable for a first time. There's more I would like to see. Scody and Hottie weren't in the game. There's a lot that wasn't in the game. He says 5 more games, and now you wait patiently, right? What if I die tomorrow and I never get to see more? I hate when developers do that. I hate it, man. It's a disservice to us, the fans, or at least I think it is. But again, I might be the minority. I might be the guy who just wants too much. You know, these people spend 4 years of their lives, Ian. They worked on this game day and night. And then when crunch time came, they didn't eat lunch for like a month, you know? They didn't go home to their families, just accept the game. Like, they took the job. And if you take the job, you do the job. What the fuck? But again, might be an asshole. I don't know. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping in. I'll be faster on the releases. I'm going to release another one this week for sure, because I want to talk about Gradius. I still haven't done it. This one will not have a video, guys, and you probably already see that because you're watching it on YouTube. And the reason it won't have a video is because I didn't record any gameplay for God of War. I forgot to do that. Also, yeah, that's the reason. I just didn't plug my Gado up. I've been busy. I know that's just the situation. I've been busy. I apologize for those of you who actually sit and wait every week. I don't think any of you do. But for those of you who do, I know my dad does. So shout out to my old man. He's like my biggest fan. But I guess Nishi does too. I don't think she really gives a fuck, but she says she gives a fuck. So I can accept that. So yeah, anyway, next week, guys. Well, this week again. Because today's what? Thursday? What's today, guys? Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. So Friday, I'll have another video up. And it'll be Gradius. Because I really, really, really want to talk about how good I am at that game. Anyway, thanks for stopping in, guys. Have a good one.